So picture this. A self-driving car gets into an accident. Or maybe a hiring algorithm unfairly rejects someone. Who's to blame? Is it the person who used it, the company that built it, or is it the AI itself? We're going to dive into what might be one of the trickiest legal questions of our time. Who pays the price when AI gets it wrong?
Let's just start with this number because it really sets the stage. $200 million. That's how much a jury told Tesla to pay in punitive damages in a huge case over its autopilot system. So you can see this is not some far-off, futuristic problem anymore. The stakes are massive, and the courts are right in the middle of it, trying to figure this all out.
So to really get our heads around this, we have to look at a real-world case. We need to go past the hypotheticals and into a courtroom, because that's where this abstract legal debate got very, very real. Okay, so back in 2019, there was a tragic crash involving a Tesla on autopilot. The driver's family sued. But here's the key part. They didn't just blame the driver. They argued that the way Tesla marketed autopilot gave people a false sense of security, making them think the car could do more than it actually could. And the jury's verdict? Well, it threw a huge spotlight on this messy new idea of shared responsibility. Now, look at this breakdown, because this is where it gets fascinating. The jury said, yeah, the driver was mostly at fault, about 2/3 to be exact. But, and this is the big but, they also pointed a finger at Tesla, saying the company was 1/3 responsible. This is huge. It means that even if a human makes the final error, the company that designed the intelligent system can still be held liable. Legal experts are calling cases like this our McPherson moment for AI. Now, what does that even mean? Well, way back, over 100 years ago, there was a case about a car with a faulty wooden wheel. Before that case, you could really only sue the dealership that sold you the car. But McPherson changed everything. Suddenly, the manufacturer itself was on the hook for safety. That case rewrote the rules for the industrial age, and now AI is forcing us to do the exact same thing for the digital age. And that verdict, that idea of splitting the blame, it brings us right to the heart of the problem. It's a philosophical puzzle, really. Before a judge can even decide who's responsible, the law first has to figure out, what is an AI anyway? For centuries, the law has had a really simple way of looking at technology. It's a tool, right? Like a hammer. If I hit my thumb with a hammer, I don't blame the hammer maker, I blame myself. Accountability is simple. But modern AI, it's not just a hammer. It learns, it makes its own decisions, it does things its creators never expected. It's more like an agent, and that creates what they call a responsibility gap, that terrifying gray area where it's not obvious who, if anyone, is actually at fault. And this right here is the absolute heart of the problem. It's called the ontological dilemma. Basically, our legal system has all these neat little boxes. You're either a person, a piece of property, or a service. But where does AI fit? It's not quite any of them. It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. Our entire legal framework just wasn't built for this, and that's why we're facing a genuine crisis of accountability. So if the philosophical problem isn't tricky enough, there's also a massive technical problem, and it has to do with something called the black box. Think about it. You're the victim, and you're in court. You have to prove the AI did something wrong. But what happens when literally no one, not even the brilliant engineers who designed it, can tell you exactly why the AI made a particular decision? The inner workings of these complex systems are often a complete mystery. How can you prove fault when you can't even see the logic? In any lawsuit, you have to prove something called proximate cause. It just means you have to draw a clear line from the defendant's action to the harm you suffered. But with a black box AI, that line is broken. You can't connect the dots if the dots are hidden inside a box you can't open. Your whole case just falls apart, which puts victims in a really, really tough spot. So how do you solve that? Well, check out this brilliant idea from Europe's new AI liability directive. It completely flips the script. The idea is, if a high-risk AI causes harm and the developer can't explain why it happened, well, the court will just presume the AI's design was the cause. Suddenly, the pressure isn't on the victim to prove what happened, it's on the company to prove that they weren't at fault. It's a game changer. And you know, while all these new laws are being debated, courts aren't just sitting around and waiting. They are already making huge decisions. And this isn't just about self-driving cars anymore. This stuff is popping up everywhere. Take this case against iTutor Group. Their hiring software was automatically throwing out applications from older job candidates. The company couldn't just throw up its hands and say, hey, the algorithm did it. The court made it crystal clear. The company is responsible for what its algorithmic agent does. You just can't use code as a shield to get away with discrimination.
Or how about this one with Air Canada? It's wild. Their chatbot just made up a refund policy that didn't exist. And when a customer tried to use it, Air Canada actually tried to argue that the chatbot was a separate entity and they weren't responsible for its mistake. The court was basically like, "Are you kidding me? That chatbot is Air Canada. It's your representative, and you are absolutely liable for what it says."
So all these court cases are basically playing defense, right? They're reacting to problems after they happen. But all around the world, regulators are trying to get proactive. They're trying to write the rules of the road before more accidents happen. The best example of this is the EU's Big AI Act, and it's pretty smart about it. It says not all AI is the same. It creates a pyramid of risk. At the very top, you have unacceptable risks, things like social scoring systems. Those are just banned outright. Then you have high-risk AI, like in medicine, that has to follow super strict rules and have a human in the loop. And as you go down the pyramid, the rules get lighter. And at the core of all these new regulations is this one critical phrase: meaningful human control. Now, this is a really important takeaway. It doesn't just mean having an on-off switch. It means the person overseeing the AI has to have enough information to actually understand what it's doing and, crucially, have the real power to step in and stop it if things go wrong. So what's the bottom line here? I think this quote just nails it. The more we lean on automation, the more our legal responsibility actually grows. It doesn't shrink. The message from the courts, from the regulators, it's all pointing in the same direction. You don't get a free pass just because a machine was involved. In fact, it means we need more human judgment, more accountability at every single step. The AI might be on trial, but at the end of the day, it's always a human who has to answer for it.